All right. We're good to go now, right? Yep, we're live. Hey, everybody. Here we are. Sorry about that. Had technical difficulties. Yep, we have home internet. I don't have corporate industrial internet. So we have gigabit, and then we had freezing rain last night, and then we had snow on top of that. And then more rain on top of that, and then more snow on top of that. Hello, everybody. We're back. Check in. I gotta get Facebook started. We're good to go. Hello, how you doing? Hey, how we doing, everybody? Check into the stream. Comment where you're tuning in from. Welcome back. Hey, Michael, how you doing? Hey, Samantha. Hey, everybody. Comment on the stream. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I gotta get this going here. Welcome back. We're back live. This is live right now. March 6th at 4:40 p.m. Thank you, Michael, for the share on Facebook. We are back live. Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much, Bridget. Hello, hello. Arizona's tuned in. Welcome. Yogurt, what's going on? Alexandria, Minnesota, Detroit, Ventura, California, Philly. We got Texas. Hey, Yara, how you doing? UK is tuned in. How we doing? How you doing, Josh? Dallas, Texas. Hello from Seattle. Good evening. Good afternoon, Prior Lake, Minnesota. Dallas, Texas is tuned in. Ohio. Hello, hello. Wisconsin. How are we doing? Tennessee. We're back in Ukraine. The war in Ukraine. Russian invasion, Putin's war in Ukraine. So far, within the last hour or so, here's the latest. There's been missile incoming alerts in the cities of Lubny, Dnipro, and Chernihiv. And Lubny is the city where our bridge was. That was that bridge cam that we had originally, the very first, when the war first started. So that's Lubny, and then Chernihiv is the city that has been shelled for the last few days now. This is what it looks like in Kyiv. It's nighttime. If you guys want to tune into daytime coverage when it looks like this, outside and there's lots of news going on, usually breaking news happens during the daytime now. And at this time of night, it's updates on missile strikes and shellings that are happening. Jacksonville, North Carolina. Ontario, Canada's tuned in. Maine is tuned in. How are you doing? Welcome, everybody. The other thing that we have a concern on is a potential beach landing in Odessa. We've been tracking that, as well as another failed evacuation of Mariupol. They tried to evacuate the townspeople out of Mariupol, and those plans have fell through twice now. Let's click. 9 hours ago, if you missed it, civilians could not be evacuated. So that's 2 days in a row now in Mariupol, one of the port cities, that it could not be evacuated in time. Thank you so much, Deborah. 11 minutes ago, Russian invaders failed to break through Eastern Front in the Luhansk direction, according to Ukraine's Joint Forces operation. So that Russian forces failed to break through Eastern Front. Minneapolis, Minnesota's tuned in. Welcome. Spam the reacts on Facebook if you haven't. We have 505 watching and 77 have reacted to the stream. We have 511 tuned in. It's 80 reacts. Help that out. Get the algorithm out there. Tens of thousands of refugees pouring into Lviv in western Ukraine. UN says more than 1.5 million have fled the country since the war began. So a lot of this stream is a lot of recap of what you might have missed overnight. Not so much breaking news happening during this time of night anymore. So we're going to be going over things you might have missed if you can't tune in for our overnight stream. Thank you so much, Patricia. So here's what Lviv looks like. Again, here's Lviv. Lviv's over here. Here's where all the fighting is. Lviv's to the west. Alright, I played that one 3 times. I had to get the share out. Here's another one. Here's more. Refugees arrive in Lviv. Raleigh, Texas tuned in. Volunteers. These volunteers have fed 5,000 refugees in the recent days. Wow. Look at that. All right. So, according to this is from Nexta, according to the Pentagon, Russia has deployed 95% of their forces and equipment. Agency didn't notice any significant advance of Russian troops in the last 24 hours. The 64-kilometer column near Kyiv remains in the same spot. So there's an update on that convoy that everybody has consistently asked about. That has not moved in days now. This one, 64-kilometer long convoy, which is 40 miles, has not moved. Oklahoma, how are we doing? How you doing, Oklahoma? We have independent sources that are posting on Twitter. Boots on the ground reports being live tweeted to Twitter. A solid source. Twitter itself sucks outside of what we're using it for. You read that? See, a lot of our independent sources are. This is when they go to bed, so we cover recap coverage during this time. Western Michigan is here tuned in. Welcome, welcome. So the other thing, if you guys are just wondering what is happening in general, if you missed it, the port city of Odessa, there are warships in the Black Sea, and there is a planned Russian beach assault or a beach landing in Odessa. There's been shelling is supposed to begin. That was when I went to bed, and I haven't seen anything new on that. I have not seen anything new. What's this? Russian troops captured. This was 4:40 p.m. This was 9 minutes ago. The occupiers attacked Zaporizhzhia. The enemy managed to restore the movement of the trains of Antonov Railway across the Dnieper. In addition, the enemy continues to advance in a northeasterly direction along the Ingol River. Russian troops captured Kashipro Mykolaiv. They captured this area. To the north of Mykolaiv. To the northwest. Ukraine Oblast, another LNR Russian convoy was hit by Ukrainian forces. Dozens of heavy explosions reported in Kharkiv tonight. Jets heard fire scenes. This is on the ground journalist. Good evening here in the UK. So there was lots of protests today during the daytime. And I know it's still today, but it's nighttime now in Ukraine. They're 8 hours ahead. But during the daytime, there were tons of protests. Even in Russia, that we watched a lot of Russian protesters get arrested and thrown in vans, in the arrest vans, similar to Operation Safety Net here in Minnesota. Look very similar. And so this is what an example of the protests that were taking place during the daytime. This is. He doesn't give a location. Chongar, where's that? We were watching protest footage all night, or all morning. Well, technically all night our time. Yes, it's a nightly stream now. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. nightly, every night. Well, except for Thursdays. Thursdays are my day off. But yes, we'll be back again 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Give or take 15, 20 minutes too. I don't go exactly on time. I give the time, but I schedule it to YouTube. But the other thing too is to avoid cyber attacks, I'm not going live at the exact time I'm saying I am. So give or take 15, 20 minutes for my times. I'll have it scheduled on the feed. It'll be scheduled on YouTube so you can hang out in the queue, but it'll be about 15, 20 minutes, give or take. It might be on time, it might not. But I'm mixing up times so that way I'm avoiding any cyber attacks, because that is happening for sure. Figured I would come check your Facebook instead of YouTube. About to log into Discord. How you doing, Michael? Thank you so much. Thank you. Worldwide protests. Here we can give an example of no, we look in Chongar. In Kherson. This is in Kherson, north of Crimea, or in the Kherson region. Kind of away from it. It's in the Kherson Oblast. Excuse me, north of Crimea. In here. Remember, Crimea is annexed. That's been since 2014, so Russia has control of that. Russia's had control of that. Cyber attacks, infrastructure. Lots of infrastructure is connected to the internet. So anything that's connected to the internet can be disabled or messed with or tampered with. All systems, infrastructure, all of it. Power grids. Train stations, hospitals run on the internet. You have to have people that are sending malware to those. They're sending viruses and malware and all types of stuff to those systems, and then there's also counter systems that are fighting those, and counter programs that are fighting those. It's a cyber war. Everything runs on the internet except for nukes. Thank goodness right now. Nukes, a lot of them still run on floppy disks and then need a human being. So there's just an example of the protests that have been taking place.
Slava Ukraini!
Also, banks are on internet.
Русский корабль! Пошел нахуй! Русский корабль! Иди нахуй! Русский корабль! Иди нахуй! Героям слава! Героям слава! Героям слава!
This is north of Crimea, the annexed portion of Ukraine. more time.
Слава Україні! Слава! Героям слава! Путін хуйло! Хуйло! Русский корабль! Пошел нахуй! Русский корабль! Иди нахуй! Русский корабль! Иди нахуй! Героям слава! Героям слава! Героям слава!
Again, this is north of Crimea, the annexed portion of Ukraine. All right, and then the other thing too, a lot of people are asking on anything that I show to the overnight, our full 8-hour coverage, I'll try to show to this audience as well, because this is like a what you would call a prime time audience in the United States. So we're gonna watch this. People are asking about if this is World War III or not, and Palki Sharma does an amazing video on if this is World War III. Actually, all of her videos are really good. Where is the World War III one? I'm retweeting that one a lot. That one must be the newest. I might have to go to YouTube now for it. It's old. It's in the... Yeah, they've been retweeting the hell out of that one video. Look at it. Okay, that's so many times. Let's just go to YouTube then. And her historical breakdowns of and how she uses history to bring it into the current debate and talk about it is excellent. There we go.
Hello and welcome to Gravity.
So again, this is Palki Sharma from Wyan. Anybody that watched this last night saw this, but if you didn't, this is gonna let you know if this is World War III or not. But she does a way better explanation than I can.
Plus, I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Let's recap this week.
Let me turn down the generator a little bit. Generator's loud as hell. This is live. That noise is coming from Kyiv. So there's like a generator in the square. So I'll turn that down a little bit. We'll be able to hear if there's an air raid alarm. It's loud enough.
For you. Monday. Russia. Hello and welcome to Gravitas Plus. I'm Palki Sharma Upadhyay. Let's recap this week for you. Monday. Russia shells Ukraine. Kyiv applies to join the EU. Tuesday. A Russian convoy amasses outside Kyiv. Ukrainian President Zelensky calls on the West to impose a no-fly zone. Wednesday. Russia says Kherson has fallen to the Kremlin. An attack on Kharkiv destroys Slovenia's consulate building. Sweden accuses Russia of airspace violation. 143 countries vote against Russia at the United Nations. Thursday, massive explosions hit Kyiv. The United Nations says more than 1 million people have fled Ukraine. Where did they go? Poland, Romania, Germany, Slovakia, Russia, Belarus. Do you notice the pattern here? With every passing day, this war is becoming bigger. With every passing day, this war is pulling in more countries. Here's a thought. Can you call this a world war? Is this World War III? A British news outlet has a legit page on World War III. Currently, it is flooded with news from Ukraine. In another part of the world, an African politician says that his continent needs World War III. Apparently, it will be good for Africa. Don't ask me how. How many of you recognize this man? He is Dan Quayle, a former US Vice President. He recently said that the world is on the verge of World War III. Geopolitics experts believe we are already in World War III. Here's what Russia has to say. World War III will involve nukes. That's Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The British Queen reportedly has a speech prepared for World War III. This is what it says. I have never forgotten the sorrow and the pride I felt as my sister and I huddled around the nursery wireless set, listening to my father's inspiring words on that fateful day in 1939. Not for a single moment did I imagine that this solemn and awful duty would one day fall to me, but whatever terrors lie in wait for us all, the qualities that have helped to keep our freedom intact twice during this sad century will once more be our strength. The speech was originally written in 1983. This was at the height of the Cold War. It was made public in 2013. The day Russia invaded Ukraine, World War III was trending on Twitter. Brings me back to my questions. Is this World War? And is this World War III? Let's place the current war against the definitions and checklists set by history. A world war is a war that involves the whole world, or at least the majority of it. World War I, for example, involved all of these countries. As we speak, only Ukraine and Russia are fighting. The rest of the countries are not on the front line. So history won't agree if we call the war in Ukraine a world war. But here's something else that history tells us. World wars often start small. Flashback 1914. On the 28th of June, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated.
This is my favorite part of how she breaks it down. She compares and contrasts it to history, because history repeats itself. I look back into the history books to understand it further, and that's the best way that I've seen it done.
Assassinated in Bosnia. He was the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire. His assassin was a Serbian nationalist.
I also need to pause this video and talk. I'm not talking over her because I can't just sit here and play videos all the way through without stopping and interjecting a little bit, because then it wouldn't be fair use. We'd just be using their videos. So that's why I'm stopping it every now and then.
A month after the assassination, Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia. A domino effect followed. Let's pull that map once again. Initially, only these countries were at war. More joined next year. And the year after, the United States joined the war. By 1918, almost all countries were fighting. But it all began with just 2 countries and 1 assassination. So that was World War I. What about the Second World War? Flashback 1939. Germany invades Poland on the 1st of September. 2 days later, Britain and France declare war on Germany. Once again, it has a domino effect. Before you know it, the whole world is fighting. At least 50 million people are dead. Again, it all began with one country invading another. So outbreaks need not be massive for a war to pull in more countries. Even a war between 2 countries can escalate and become a world war. World wars have clear alliances. Prominent countries are divided. World War I had the Triple Entente and the Triple Alliance. The first side had France, Russia and Britain. The alliance had Germany, Austria-Hungary and Italy. World War II had the Axis powers and the Allies. Germany, Italy and Japan were the Axis powers. France, Britain, the US and the Soviet Union were the Allies. At a glance, only 2 countries seem to be fighting in Ukraine. But if you zoom out, you will see a divided world. Each country has picked a side. The United Nations General Assembly's recent emergency vote is proof. The Assembly was voting on a resolution. It called for the withdrawal of Russian troops from Ukraine. Voting for the resolution meant voting against Russia and in favor of Ukraine. 141 countries voted in favor of Ukraine. The list includes the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada and Australia. 4 countries voted in favor of Russia: Belarus, North Korea, Syria and Eritrea. 35 countries abstained. These countries decided to not take sides, to not get involved in a war that's neither of them making, nor theirs to fight. America, too, was in a similar position during the First World War. Initially, it kept out of Europe's war. This was until American interests started bleeding. Things changed rapidly in 1917.
I'm concerned of that happening, of our interest in the country pushing us there. I'm really hoping that it stays. I'm really hoping that we don't.
War had entered its 4th year. Germany had launched a naval blockade of the UK. German U-boats or submarines were placed in key trade routes and
Easy to influence Americans. Let's go back some.
UK. German U-boats or submarines were placed in key trade routes and tasked with sinking ships carrying essential supplies and raw materials. The idea was to starve Britain into surrendering. Between March 16th and 18th, German submarines sank 3 U.S. merchant ships. There was heavy loss of life. U.S. President Woodrow Wilson decided to declare war on Germany. Back to the war in Ukraine. Here's what's happened in the last 1 week alone. On the 2nd of March, an Indian student was killed in Ukraine. The same day, Slovenia's consulate building in Kharkiv was bombed. On the 3rd of March, Sweden accused Russia of airspace violation. The same day, Ukraine said it is welcoming foreign fighters. On the 4th of March, Russia put the entire continent in danger by attacking a nuclear power plant. Will countries be left with no option but to join this war if their interests or their own people continue bleeding? NATO is already prepared for an escalation. It has beefed up deployment in Eastern Europe. But
that's a hat. That's a hat with a hat trailer. Anybody in the chat ever drove one of those? Those things are massive. Those are huge. I know how to adjust every single axle on that trailer. There's a little box you got to get to, and you can raise and lower that trailer. All the axles, every single axle on that trailer moves. Every single wheel. So when that trailer and that truck moves, see how massive it is? When you take a left turn, the trailer swings and follows the truck. It's not like a natural trailer. It like follows the truck. So you can take out fences and stuff if you're not careful with that machine.
France maintains it is not at war with Russia, at least not yet. This was the 3rd of March. The same day, French President Emmanuel Macron got on a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin told Macron that he wants entire Ukraine. Macron came out.
Yes, we carried M1 Abrams on that, but other equipment too. Go back some since we're talking about that. Well, don't want to miss her. What she's saying. Yep, that's a het. Tanks, big heavy equipment. You can put LMTV on there. You can put MRAPs on there. You can put anything really. But mostly, yeah, a lot of Abrams missions with those. You can usually put the like a MRAP on a 915 A5 trailer. But these ones were the big equipment. Yep, M1 Abrams. Then we had a lot of joint missions with the Marines because the Marines, a lot of the Marines had the Abrams, and so they would drive their equipment onto our trucks and we'd transport them to where they needed to go. So, 88. There it is, the het.
But France maintains it is not at war with Russia, at least not yet. This was the 3rd of March. The same day, French President Emmanuel Macron got on a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Putin told Macron that he wants entire Ukraine. Macron came out of the 90-minute phone call and declared that the worst is yet to come. What exactly will the worst look like? Will it be a large-scale European conflict or a wider armed conflict involving countries from around the world? Think about it. Our world is already fighting multiple wars. Experts believe China's conflict with Taiwan will turn into a military conflict sometime in the next decade. China is also fighting multiple countries in the South China Sea, the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei. India and China are caught in a standoff. There is a conflict between Iran and Israel, Iran and the United States. The United States and North Korea are arch enemies. So are the United States and Cuba. There is also a war in Syria, a war in Yemen. Israel and Palestine are fresh out of a bloody battle. The United Arab Emirates was recently hit by missiles. It is hard to rule out that countries or non-state actors will seize on a distracted world and pursue their geopolitical dreams. It is hard to rule out that an escalation on the sidelines of Ukraine will drag in more countries. It is also hard to rule out that the war in Ukraine itself will intensify and swallow more nations. Lavrov was right when he said World War III will involve nukes. 9 countries are said to have nuclear weapons today: the US, Russia, France, China, the UK, Pakistan, India, Israel, and North Korea. In total, there are 13,000 weapons. Enough and more to wipe out our world. Russia has put its nuclear deterrent team on alert. The US has postponed the scheduled test of its ballistic missile. Why? Perhaps to avoid sending a wrong signal. Our world cannot afford to go to war. Earlier this week, a campaigner from Ukraine confronted British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. She claimed NATO was afraid of World War III, but said the war had already started. But here's the thing. One cannot be sure of what lies ahead. Is this a prelude to World War III? Is this the end of the post-Cold War era? Or is this Cold War II? That last question was put to US President Joe Biden. A journalist asked him, "Are we seeing a new Cold War?" "It depends," said Biden. "From where I'm sitting, I see ample signs of a new Cold War. There are two clear sides, one led by the US, another by Russia. Then there are countries that have chosen to stay out. There is talk of a possible world war, signs of an escalating conflict. And I see a president who refuses to back down. Well, one thing's for sure, whichever side our world swings, we are entering an entirely new era of geopolitics."
All right. She does an amazing job breaking it down, bringing history into the Palki Sharma reporting. We only listen. I don't know what Wyan's about. We don't watch Wyan. We watch Palki Sharma's reporting. She broke down the conflict when it began using historical references, and she did the same thing with her if this is World War III analysis. She does a very good job every time. All right. A residential high-rise has been targeted by Russians in Kharkiv. So this just happened. We got to wait. They have been hit and miss. Intel Rogue has been hit and miss. They posted a clip and then, oh, hold on. What's this? Oh no, what's this one? 73,000. Okay, we can probably trust this, but we might. The more clips that surface and the more that they pick up traction, the more we can connect it to happening tonight. Obviously, a lot of the clips we need to verify if they actually happen now or if they're reclips or reposts. All right, so this breaking, not from an official account. A residential high-rise has been targeted by Russians in Kharkiv, so just keep an eye out for this clip. It is nighttime. It is nighttime in Ukraine. Goodness. Kharkiv. Here's Kharkiv. Border city, right on the border of Russia. Look at that. Look at all the, again, if you're new to the channel or if you don't know, the red is all Russian, Russia controlled. Like Crimea has been annexed since 2014. That Russia's had that. So this is Russian space. They've had this for 8 years now. Everything else, this is the Donbas. These are the two separatist controlled regions of Ukraine that Russia has had control over since Putin announced their independence. And then inside of the country, these are areas that Russian Russian forces have control over. So just north of Kyiv, and Chernobyl and the plant down, but a big area is they're just this city, man. This city, like every day, multiple times a day. Look at all of the red is Russian bombings or missile strikes, jet strikes, helicopter strikes, and it's just more and more. It's just filled with it. And how we get the blips on it is, again, when you post to Telegram or TikTok, like if you posted, if you have your location settings turned on right now, if you posted, it would geolocate where you post from. Like if you posted to Twitter, it would say wherever the hell you're tweeting from. And so this website captures that location and then pings where that is being posted from. And so then we get a location on a map where that is. Like from any video. And obviously we don't get all the news from here. Not everybody has their location settings turned on. But that's why we're going to Twitter for independent journalists that we don't get. But this is the city of Kharkiv. In the course of hostilities, Shunahiv in the Kharkiv region was cleared from Russian forces. That was 13 minutes ago. Let's refresh this. Sorry, tuning in late. No, Poland is not giving. Hold on. Poland they keep going. The news keeps going. I think the news is trying to pressure Poland, but Poland has been consistent. Like we're not sending any Poland jets to Ukraine. Blinken says U.S. is eyeing ways, so they're not. Poland isn't doing it. U.S. works with Poland to provide Ukraine fighter jets. EU countries won't provide. So it's, I think the news is trying to like pressure them, because Poland's already came out and said we're not doing that. We're not sending jets. We're staying out of it. But they're trying to put pressure on them though. Blinken says this is 4 hours ago. Blinken says NATO countries have green light to send fighter jets. What does that mean though? Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said Sunday that NATO members have the go-ahead to send fighter jets to Ukraine and U.S. allies continue their efforts. Here, this is about what we might be able to do. So this is so. All right, he doesn't have the authority to give the green light to send jets, right? This is his opinion. That gets a green light is an opinion. We're in talks with our Polish friends right now. They're not going. They're in talks. How can we do what they're trying to pressure them. They're putting pressure. They're not. Poland is not doing it right now. They're sending jets. It's confirmed. That's the news. Is the original news was they were sending MiGs for F-16s. I know that we were going to give Poland F-16s and they were going to send Ukraine. I'm trying to find the tweet that Poland put out that said we're not doing it. I know the news. I know it keeps changing. It's because they're trying to influence it, or the U.S. is trying to influence it. What can we do? How can we make sure they get something to backfill the planes? They're in talks. This is 4 hours ago. This is the newest. This is 4 hours ago. They're still in talks. In fact, we're talking with our Polish friends about what we might be able to do. I know, but the main talk is with Poland. That was the news. How we doing? How we doing, Skull Zone? I know that there's multiple NATO countries, but the main news is with Poland. The deal with Poland. And it's fallen through twice. I'm trying to find Discord. I can't find it. See if Discord can get that link. Yeah, the main country is Poland in the talks. Yeah. What's this now? Seems to be another confirmed Russian AF helicopter that was shot down. Looks like Mi-24 Hind attack gunship. Oh, a Hind. Is that a Hind D? Metal Gear Solid quote. Hold on. Here's a Hind. A Hind D? Mi-24. A Hind attack gunship. These things are pretty advanced, aren't they? Still the Mi-24. Mi-24 Hind. No, it's still old. They're still. I mean, it's still a pretty it's a powerful helicopter, though. I believe. I know it's old. 1972. Anyone that knows helicopters, this is Facebook. This is your time to check in. All the experts on Facebook. No, we have an awesome veteran community, actually. So this is still a very viable piece of equipment for Russia, I think. We can check. 1972, these things were made. Yeah, it's a Hind. That's what they said. This is what they said was shot down. A Hind. Mi-24 Hind. Capable but old. Okay. It's TikTok, so they have to have music with it. So a Hind shot down in a field. It's like a flying tank. That's what I thought. It's old as hell, though. Old as hell. They have old equipment. It's already known at this point. The newest piece of equipment that we've seen is their cruise missile trucks, which are from 2007. That's the newest piece of equipment I've seen that they have out there. They're cruise missile trucks. Most of their equipment's from the 80s, 70s. Shit, created in the 60s, but old. Okay, so we're seeing this. Where is that? Is this the same source? One of the mini. So this is another video coming out of Kharkiv. One of the mini videos of the shelling. So we might get some news out of Kharkiv here soon, or at least in the daytime for our coverage at 11 p.m. We're going to definitely see some aftermath video, clips, pictures, videos. That's how it works. We see, at nighttime around this time, you see the videos of the shellings and it's dark. Again, it's nighttime in Ukraine. And then for our daytime coverage, you see the you see the pictures of from it. I don't show any loss of life, any direct just gore, disgusting parts of this war. I don't show that at all. That there's an abundance of that on social media right now, and we actually have a team that has to like go through the clips first before I can put them on the screen. So we're not showing any of that, but area targets, vehicles destroyed. I mean, it's implied that there's loss of life. Okay, it's implied, but we don't need to see in-your-face death. We're not doing that here. But the next day, when daytime comes, you'll likely see the destruction from this bombardment. We've seen that every day. So here's more. So this was posted 50 seconds ago. So that looks the same as from this clip. Where'd it go? That looks similar. This is a different angle from that. This is a different angle. It was posted a few minutes ago. Okay. Or 14 minutes ago. So this is when again, the source has been hit and miss. But we got another video that they posted from this TP. So let me see here. TPYXA. They have a few different watermarks, but they've been their clips at least. This watermarked clipping. Whoever does this one, they've been pretty accurate with the clips and keeping them up to date. Right now they are. Again, that could change. But whoever this watermark is, they've been pretty accurate with clips.
Я не знаю,
and not posting misinformation clips.
Я не знаю, будет ли видно, но тут вспышки вот так по всему городу. Ну как, по всему. Именно с той стороны. Пока к центру не прошли, но...
Kharkiv is being shelled hard. Goodness.
То там замигает, то там взорвется.
You can hear it.
Короче, там пиздец начался, походу. Я не знаю, будет ли видно, но тут вспышки вот так по всему городу. Ну как, по всему. Именно с той стороны. Пока к центру не прошли, ну, блядь, сами слышите. То там замигает, то там взорвется. Короче, там пиздец начался, походу. Я не знаю, будет ли видно.
I mean, as sad as it sounds, and it is, the city of Kharkiv has been literally. This has a nightly occurrence. This happens every night in Kharkiv. I mean, as sad and as horrible as it sounds, but they're like people, residents in that area by this point are, it's becoming part of their life now, becoming part of their daily life. Unfortunately, now as sad as that is. Same thing happens to those that get deployed you know, veterans in the chat know what I'm talking about. You get used to it, unfortunately, as bad as that sounds. So that's the situation in Kharkiv. So here we go. So here's some more. Who's Brady? We might need to follow this account too. Location of this building struck in Kharkiv, Ukraine tonight. Here we go. We got some coordinates. So it's true. So here it is. That's the building before, and this is that video that we saw. So again, this is how it works usually. This is how we get the information. And it's not like sometimes it's presented as this is fact right now. And this is what we take, and then we take that, and then it's presented as the right now fact. And then other times in these situations, these are being posted by smaller accounts that, you know, that aren't verified or anything like that. So the process in verifying these take a little longer, but they're doing a pretty good job themselves with combating misinformation to try to get it updated. Location, let's get that coordinates in. Kharkiv, north. Aroma Coffee. Let's see, can we put a guy down there? That one? Yeah. That building. Pictures from 2015. All right. Hello. How you doing, Lori? We are not targeting civilians. Yeah, man. Dude, they've been. Again, here's the clip. Yeah, it's nighttime. It is nighttime right now in Ukraine. That's why. There. You see this? It's 1:28 in the morning right now in Ukraine. We got the look in the right side of the feed. We got a ticker going across with the headlines, and then on the right side underneath that is my date, is my time in the black box of me in the United States in Minnesota, and then below that is the time in Kyiv. So you don't have to do the work anymore. Just look at those two clocks. Oh, I gotta turn on the knock spot. My bad, hold on. I didn't turn on the chat bot yet. My bad, I forgot. Alright, chat bot is on. Hey, let's take this. Oh, no, we'll do it in 10 minutes. We're almost at the hour mark. So we're gonna have to keep an eye. That's the latest now. That's the break. That's the latest news. In Kharkiv, just north of Kharkiv. That would be right around here again, right? Heavy clashes near Kharkiv 2 hours ago. So heavy clashes, violent artillery, and aerial shelling. So they, again, another night of shelling. Let's try to look at that. All right. Here's Kharkiv. Trying to get it. There's the, okay. That's the Independence Square, the Freedom Square that was struck. Now where is it from there? It's like, there it is. There's the square that we're looking at. So it's north, a little bit northwest slightly. Just below the main highway. Okay. In this area. Just below the main highway. Trying to get an idea what the area looks like in here too. Wow. 3D model of Kharkiv. All right, let's continue. Again, that's the latest right now is the city of Kharkiv is being shelled. Wow. Girl in a bomb shelter plays the violin composition. Very nice. In a bomb shelter. Hello, how you doing, John? The armed forces of Ukraine liberated the city of Shugahev in the Kharkiv region. Russian side suffered heavy losses in personnel. Where's Shugahev? Shugwa. I'm probably not even saying that right. To the south, to the southeast. In the course of hostilities, how do you say that?
Chukev.
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 Chukev. Chukev, so to the southeast of Kharkiv. So here's an example from today, or it would have been yesterday in Ukraine, but today for us. The hacking collective Anonymous hacked into the Russian streaming services Wink and Leva, whatever, Evie. So it's like their Netflix. And live TV channels in Russia 24, Channel 1, Moscow 24, and they broadcasted war footage from Ukraine. So they hijacked their streaming services.
Офицеры говорят.
Кхарков. 11:42, 28 число. Вот так примерно выглядит русский мир.
One more time. No.
Офицеры говорят.
Харков. 11:42, 28 число. Вот так примерно выглядит русский мир.
All right. Checking the latest. All right, guys, we're at an hour. Comment, do a viewer check-in. Let me know where you're tuned in from. What city and what state are you watching from? Where in the world are you tuned in from? Comment below. You guys are tuned in on Facebook and YouTube. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Hey, we have 500 people tuned in. Take a moment and like the video on YouTube. Over 500 tuned in on Facebook. Like the video or spam the reactions. Fort Hood, Texas is tuned in. You guys are watching on Mercado Media Productions. Madison, Wisconsin's tuned in. How you doing? Brighton, England. How you doing? Welcome. Yuma, Arizona. Upstate New York from the UK, Minneapolis is tuned in. Welcome. Ontario, Canada. The Bluegrass State. Drop a follow on Mercado Media Productions if you haven't. Exclamation mark notify in the chat. Exclamation mark notify. Share the stream too. On Facebook. Denmark, Copenhagen. Thank you, Matthew Scott, for the share. Thank you, Alyssa, for the share. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Susan Hall, for the share. Thank you, Joellen, Zach. Thank you, Melissa. Corbin, Kentucky. St. Charles, Missouri. Wisconsin, Dallas, Texas. Wisconsin, Northeast, East Coast. Boston, Massachusetts. Tuned in. Welcome, everyone. Tuned in from California, Norfolk, Virginia, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Independence, Missouri. St. Charles, Missouri. South Wales, United Kingdom, right next to Detroit. Tuned in. Birmingham's tuned in. Got Chicago in here. I did, Kim. Thank you so much. Wendy, thank you. Chris, thank you. Thank you, Yolanda, for the share. Thank you, KM Watts, for the share. Thank you, Julie, for the share. And then also YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel on YouTube. Take a moment and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications. Hit the subscribe. It's not there for me because I'm already subscribed. Or it'll be right here, subscribed. And then notification bell and set it to all. Notification bell set to all. Facebook, gotta set it to favorites. Right here. Favorites. You'll see posts higher in your news feed, all video, live video. You gotta do all this on Facebook to be able to get notifications. I know, it's the algorithm's tough to fight through. But if you're trying to tune in and you aren't seeing when the feed is live or anything like that on Facebook, you gotta set it to favorites, all notifications for video, and all notifications for live video. We only post, we don't post too often. so you're not going to get annoyed with notifications. California's tuned in. Thank you, Lori. And then YouTube, again, notification bell, and then the subscribe button. All right, let's tune back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hampton Roads, Virginia. Again, this is the shortened stream. This is kind of like a highlight of the day from the most breaking news to recap, because this time of night it's just really some indirect fire and artillery happenings. But even in Kyiv, this is Maidan Square. They have the lights on now. They used to all night long have the lights off. Oshkosh, Wisconsin's tuned in. North Texas is tuned in. So they have the lights on now, like bright lights in Maidan Square. But feel free, if you guys are going to tune in tonight, 11 p.m., 11:15, 11:30 in that region. I'll be scheduling the stream on YouTube after this stream is done. We're going until like 7 p.m., so we still got like an hour and 20 minutes left. Thank you, Roger. Still going for about an hour and 20 minutes, but the daytime overnight coverage is when we're up to the hour breaking happenings. Especially it's going to be Monday now. No, I haven't seen the fountains back on. No, it's still cold. Here's what it looks like in 2015. But I'm sure this is what it looks like when it's populated, if you haven't seen it yet. Here's what it normally looks like in different circumstances. Thank you, Christina. Andy Shea, thank you. Sean, thank you. Thank you, Bernard, for the share. Thank you. Michelle, thank you. Cassandra, thank you for the share. Wisconsin, how you doing? Michigan, Ontario. Of course. So this is what it looks like daytime, different angles. It's a mall. Inside of this dome is a mall. They're pushing it. They're trying to get it. Even the latest breaking news from CBS is that even from Blinken himself is that they're still in talks. And the latest news I heard earlier in the day was that Poland they're not doing it. They're going to assist in other ways. They're not sending fighter jets at this time, but they will assist in other ways. Ukraine war, it just doesn't end. Wow. Again, the latest happenings is the airstrike in Kharkiv. So here, if you missed it, this is from, it's still the 6th, but now it's technically, again, it's almost 2 in the morning in Ukraine, but this happened, so technically yesterday in Ukraine, but it's still the 6th here. So this was daytime, if you missed it. Again, daytime coverage is all night from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And we cover daytime. Like we cover stuff like this in the daytime. That's Kharkiv. You saw the Mi-24, and then here's one of the mini videos. Again, this is Kharkiv tonight. City of Kharkiv. So we're gonna have more images of that in the morning. That city just continues to get leveled. Here's another angle. If you haven't seen it, you just tuned in. Residential high-rise, and that we found. We had the, I had the coordinates. That is right here. See, in 2015, this part wasn't done yet, or it was. This picture was in 2015. So, oh, where was the? It had the. We had one account do a compare to now, and I gotta probably scroll. There. That this area down here wasn't lit up. It wasn't finished, but this is that building from that video. The apartment high rise. Hey, Billiot. And then here's what it looks like daytime. Across the street. So it's hit like right here. Yeah. Again, this is 2015 photo. Newer photo, it's lit up and it's occupied now. That is what's happening right now. Let's check in. The other thing that you guys might have missed overnight was, oh man, I don't really see people getting brutalized either. So this is, I mean, we've, on Sunday, March 6th, anti-war rallies were held in 56 Russian cities. According to OVD info, at least 4,000 participants were detained. At least 34 people were beaten during the arrest. In videos, security forces of St. Petersburg used a stun gun. So we're not going to play it, but they, brutalizing protesters. Anti-war protesters in Russia. The armed forces of Ukraine liberated the city of Shigwe. I can't say that one still. In the Kharkiv region, Russian side suffered heavy losses in personnel equipment. Photo of the Kharkiv railway station. So this is people trying to get out of Kharkiv. These are people trying to leave Kharkiv. Again, guys, we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Live on Facebook and YouTube. So this is kind of like a... This is their map that they have. 24 hours, 3 p.m. The daily Ukraine brief. A little bit more accurate of the roads that they have. Updated war map of Russian-occupied zones in Ukraine. They haven't gotten very far into the country, but they're trying every day. More and more civilians are getting killed in the border cities. Here's an update 26 minutes ago. Reuters, U.S. does not see an immediate Russian amphibious assault of Odessa. So this is the newest, or Odessa. Newest update. Earlier on March 6, President Zelensky said Ukraine had maps and records obtained from captured Russian soldiers. So this is, again, why the title of the video is what it is. I've been waiting for this update. 26 minutes ago. So at least from the U.S. intelligence, it doesn't see an imminent Russian amphibious assault. This is the latest. Here's Odessa. Lots thought that this was going to happen. They had Zelensky, the president himself from Ukraine, came out and said that they had intelligence to show that that was going to happen. So, latest, as of 26 minutes ago, we're going to have to keep up on this one. This is the biggest things we're following. Because, it's fluid. Fluid information. Odessa. Potential happenings with an amphibious assault. Right now, the latest is the U.S. does not see an imminent amphibious assault. Yesterday, earlier on March 6th, again, I know it's still March 6th here, but this would be yesterday in Ukraine. The president said Ukraine had maps and records obtained from captured Russian soldiers that showed Russian forces were planning to bomb Odessa. And then there was other reports that they had full plans to do an amphibious assault of it. So that is the latest. We got to find, I would like to know the U.S. source for that. Reuters. U.S. does not see imminent Russian amphibious assault of Odessa, U.S. official says. I've reached my article? Are you kidding me, dude? Seriously? Register for free? Oh my god, no. Why? Apparently I've reached my article limit. USnews.com. Oh, look, they took it right from Reuters, it looks like. Yep, you can read this one. They took the article straight from Reuters. Washington, Reuters. The U.S. does not believe... here, have them read it.
Not believe a Russian amphibious assault in or near... The United States does not believe a Russian amphibious assault in or near the Ukrainian city of Odessa is imminent, a senior U.S. defense official said on Sunday, amid growing concern about a potential attack on the city. The official, who spoke on condition of anonymity, estimated Russia had launched about 600 missiles since the start of the invasion and deployed into Ukraine about 95% of combat forces it had pre-staged outside of the country. Recommended videos. Powered by any...
Okay. Appreciate that. So just per a U.S. official, U.S. defense official. So, U.S. doesn't seem to believe. Yeah, I know. I know, literally. You can find the same article at other places. They just reshare the article. Police officers, this is what was happening in Moscow. We were tuned into this. Reuters had a live feed going, which is, or excuse me, Rupply, not Reuters, Rupply did, of a live feed in Moscow of protesters getting arrested. By the way, this is a similar tactic Operation Safety Net was using in Minnesota. Seeing papers, seeing your phone records, taking a photo of your ID, all types of stuff that wasn't cool, that not the United States is supposedly not doing, or doesn't do, but they were doing it. That happened during the protests in Brooklyn Center in Minnesota. They had activated a unit called Operation Safety Net, which is a bunch of law enforcement agencies, federal agencies, and this is the type shit they were doing. Very scary. This looks just like Operation Safety Net, doing the same shit. Look at scrolling through their social media. What is that? to go through your cell phone right then and there. Yeah. It doesn't exist anymore. It got disbanded. Russian aircraft types. Hope some days we will learn about them from encyclopedia like extinct species. Okay. Russian aircraft. Here's a handy Russian aircraft identification chart. As we saw that video already. Here's an update. They've been doing solid. Betis News. Russian convoy heading towards Kyiv has basically been halted for a week now. Probably, so their assumption. A combination of factors, including logistics, Ukrainian resistance. Okay, so this is what they think it is, and this is what it is. The Russian convoy heading towards Kyiv has basically been halted for a week. Anonymous hackers said that they hacked Russian yeah, we saw that. Russian streaming services have been hacked. Photo of the Kharkiv railway station if you've missed this. This is the city. This was, again, a lot of these photos, this time of night right here is our recap time. So I got to cover anything that you guys might have missed for daytime in Ukraine. Not a whole lot of breaking news. There was a shelling in Kharkiv, which is the city we're looking at right now. This city is just war torn. But if you tuned in the beginning of the invasion, we had concerns of 3 a.m. movements and all types of stuff overnight, and it's just not happening. Their ground forces are depleted to the point where they don't have the resources to move at night now. They don't have, the Ukrainians have so much capabilities to see them, like they need daytime now. The other update is, according to U.S. officials, is that they don't see an imminent amphibious assault. President Zelensky feels otherwise after seeing from Ukraine had maps and records obtained from Russian soldiers that said otherwise. They could be just having their soldiers carry all types of information, though, that isn't even relevant to throw Ukraine off. Just have their soldiers carry information that's not even good information, but they know that the Ukrainians are going to take it. Today, Russian television showed footage from Kharkiv and other Ukrainian cities. So this is what that looked like if you haven't seen it yet.
Офицеры говорят.
Yeah, Beth, we have a clip team. We have playing the video that we didn't. That video of the bomb going off in the middle of all the people. Yeah, we're not. Yeah. MSNBC showed it. They're trying to. Yeah. This is anonymous hacking. No, there's no live cams in Kharkiv. The city's no. There was when the invasion began. But no more live cams in Kharkiv.
Офицеры говорят.
Ставка Кахарта. 11:42, 28 число. Вот так примерно выглядит русский мир.
All right. Hacking Collective, Anonymous. This is from Anonymous then. Hacked into, we can retweet that. So this is from the Anonymous account. Don't follow them. Air raid sirens. So EMPR Media, they do a really good job on the ground journalism. Air raid sirens in Kryvyi Rig and Dnipro. Oh, I'm lost where Dnipro is. Here it is. Dnipro's down here. Southeast. So here's Kyiv, capital city. Dnipro down here. So there, again, there's a big, massive region that there hasn't been too much activity, because the Russian military and the Russian forces have struggled to maintain the border, their border cities. They've only taken. Well, they took Chernobyl from Belarus, or came through Belarus and took Chernobyl early on, and have some footholds a little bit inside of the country, but not very far in. They have the Crimea has been annexed since 2014. It took the city of Kherson. Every day, again, we're going to be tuning into this during the overnight coverage, the evacuation of Mariupol. That's been halted, but beyond that, they haven't made much foothold into the country yet. They haven't made much advance into the country. It's been much on the outside. And then, of course, the Donbas, Luhansk and Donetsk. Donetsk. Air raid sirens in Dnipro. This is where is this again? Close to Kharkiv, a Ukrainian counteroffensive. So they're starting to launch some counteroffensives for Kharkiv. Where is that? Okay. Southeast. So they're southeast of Kharkiv. Down here. Counteroffensive liberated that city. So this is the latest that Anonymous has hacked Russian streaming services. An update from Anonymous, just southeast. So more attacks in Kharkiv and Anonymous hacking of Russian services so far. That's like the latest. Other news is there's been protests all day yesterday across, even in Russia. Here, let's go to Russia quick. Here. Russia map. Well, we got jailings. 13 hours ago, Russian police detaining families. So these are the protests that were happening in Russia yesterday. We watched some of this in Reuters and Moscow, but there were protests all across the country. Families getting arrested for protesting. One more time. Patrick, I need an article. Join our Discord server if you have articles. This was in Russia yesterday. Well, again, March 6th. It's still March 6th for us in the United States, but it's now March 7th over there. So this was earlier in the day, technically yesterday for them. Earlier this morning for us. Like, we were tuned into this, I think, at like 6:36 in the morning. If you want to tune into all of this live with us, it's overnight coverage now. And then over here, Russia's such a massive country. 5,439. Oh, translate. 4,359 detainees in 56 cities. Authorities consider OVD info a foreign agent. Okay, so that's good to know too. OVD info a foreign agent. So even that number could be wrong. It could be much high. It could be much higher than 4,359, or lower. Or actually, that could be an inflated number to scare the people not to protest, because actually that number might be inflated. It's all fear tactics, so they don't want people protesting. So if they show that, they're arresting nearly 5,000 people. OVD info is a foreign agent, so keep an eye out for that. That's what they're putting out. Probably that number might be inflated. There's a protest yesterday in Irkutsk. I still can't say that one correct. This was all during the daytime. Again, when I say yesterday, I'm yesterday in this region of the world. So it's March 7th now there. I know it's still March 6th for us. Where are they putting all the people they're arresting? The gulag? I don't know. I mean, likely the work industrial work prisons they have, or sent to the front lines as conscripts if they're young enough. The other thing that they're for spreading their quote false information, so like sharing anything from the war that's actually happening, is they're facing up to 15 years in prison for that. These are anti-war. Other protests taking place in Russia have to do with wages. So there's wages protests as well. Where's that? There's a protest on wages because the ruble's worth nothing, so their wages are going down. Trying to find that. 6 hours ago, Russian forces have switched off some mobile networks in the internet as Zaporizhia NPP. This is back in Ukraine, so they're shutting internet off in Ukraine. Here in Russia's new quote fake news law, we have no choice but to suspend live streaming and new content. What? What? This is from TikTok itself? This is a real thing. TikTok is an outlet for creativity and entertainment that can provide a source of relief and human connection during a time of war. when people are facing immense tragedy and isolation. However, the safety of our employees and our users remain highest priority. In light of Russia's new, quote, fake news law, we have no choice but to suspend live streaming and new content to our video service while we review safety implications of this law. Isn't TikTok Chinese owned? TikTok has pulled out of Russia. They have a fake news law, dude. This is real life. Fake news law. We have no choice but to suspend. So TikTok, you aren't going to be getting live streams in TikTok, off TikTok. Those that have been using TikTok for Ukraine resources, TikTok's cutting those off. Can't even smoke a joint on TikTok without getting banned anyways. You get literally community banned for smoking a joint on TikTok. The war is going on because people don't want... Okay. Picketing practice. What's that? Oh, this is in the United States. Picketing practice? They're what? Gonna practice picketing? That's in the Twin Cities. Let's check the map. Go back to Ukraine. Hey, how you doing? How is everybody doing? Just checking the latest. We've kind of gone over the recap. Heavy clashes near Kharkiv. We're just waiting on any updates from Kharkiv. Explosions heard over Kharkiv. We saw that. Monitoring of military airfields in Belarus indicates that 2 more Russian A-50s intelligence aircraft, AWACS, arrive at Baranovichi Air Base. Monitoring of military airfields in Belarus indicates that 2 more Russian A-50s intelligence aircraft arrive at Baranovichi Air Base. So they're like tracking what they have for planes too. What's up? How you doing? How you doing? How is everybody doing? In Lithuanian organization Blue Yellow, which supports the Ukrainian military, they've collected 17 million euros in donations. So far, a truck with uniforms, shoes, sleeping bags, body armor, medical supplies, etc. has already arrived in the Ukraine. The organization reported. It's live in Kyiv right here in the capital city. You're doing good, Lori. Take a moment also, y'all, if you haven't joined our Discord server, join our Discord. Links in the description. Or do !Discord and the chat bot will pop it up for you. The chat bot will pop it up for you. The chat's got to refresh on YouTube. On YouTube, make sure you set the chat option to live chat. There's top chat and then there's live chat options for chatting. Make sure you have it set to live chat. YouTube has raised $14,000 and going. $14,000 and still going to International Rescue Committee. Amazing job, YouTube. $14,000 raised. There you go, Discord server. Join our Discord server. $14,000 raised. Discord. Crazy thing, USA is buying oil from Russia still. I agree. We should have cut them off from oil and energy, but we're not doing it. It would have had to take an L. I mean, people would have complained. I'm sure prices would have gotten even worse. Prices would have got worse. But if they want to work, try to find other deals, other energy deals, but that's not happening. Yes, they've been taking internet down in Ukraine, John. Yes, yes. I'm doing well. Geopolitical talks, posts, people are questioning things. This was 2 hours ago. Explosions heard in Kharkiv. Wall Street Journal, Russia recruiting Syrians killed in urban combat to be sent to Ukraine. Russia recruiting Syrians skilled in urban combat to be sent to Ukraine to help take Kyiv. Oh, wow. Let's look at that report. Oh, wow. Russia recruiting Syrians for urban combat in Ukraine, per U.S. officials. Oh my goodness. I gotta register to read that article too. That was from an hour ago. I had to like register to read this. This is dude, no. Moscow is recruiting Syrians skilled in urban combat to fight in Ukraine. An American assessment indicates that Russia, which has been operating, okay. So that we got to keep an eye on that. Moscow recruiting Syrians to fight. Oil price surpassed $130 per barrel amid panic over the war in Ukraine, beating 2012's peak of over $128. The only higher oil price was, in 2008, $143. But even that record is not so far. Some people, I saw a comment said if the world went totally green, the world isn't technologically capable of that yet. Yeah, Russia is a giant fossil fuel country. Same with the U.S., but U.S. is starting to go green. Over here in Denmark, special laws are made to help Ukrainian refugees, thus exposing the inhumane policy you've had towards Syrians, Afghans. So they're making special laws for Ukrainian refugees. So that'll be stuff to, again, war has lots of repercussions and exposes lots of unjust happenings that were occurring before the war had started throughout history periods. And then when war happens, you see how quickly things can happen for groups and how long other groups have waited for those things and they haven't gotten them. 429 in Michigan. It costs a lot of money too. Yes, it does. Very expensive. Going green. The cost of that is very expensive. So here's a video of two D-30 122mm howitzers batteries destroyed near Mykolaiv. This is fighting to the northeast. Russian troops captured. This was 2 hours. So these videos are coming out from what would be yesterday in Ukraine during the daytime, but now it's nighttime.
Обзоры наших людей, чтобы поднимали ситуацию. Это вот одна из колонн возле Николаева. Вот то, что осталось от наших братьев, які прийшли нас спасати. Ось, парні, тут колись, щоб під ногами нічого не рвануло. От, пушечки, і пушечки, я вам скажу, націлені в сторону міста, не кудись. О, двигун, майже як новий. Будь ласка. Так б'є українська артилерія.
Destroyed Russian artillery equipment.
А я попереджав. Нехер шастать. Смотрим. Вот. Ось все це, що від вас залишилось на даному участку. А гаубиці
Howitzers.
тепер і буде стріляти по вам, хлопці.
One more time.
Ну, для обзора наших людей, чтобы поднимали ситуацию. Это вот одна из колонн возле Николаева. Вот то, что осталось от наших братьев, які прийшли нас спасати. Ось, парні, тут колись, щоб під ногами нічого не рвануло. От, пушечки, і пушечки, я вам скажу, націлені в сторону міста, не кудись. О, двигун, майже як новий. Будь ласка. Так б'є українська артилерія. А я попереджав. Нехер шастать. Смотрим. Вот. Ось все це, що від вас залишилось на даному участку. А гаубиці наші тепер і будуть стріляти по вам, хлопці.
All right. Destroyed Russian howitzers and artillery equipment. The U.S. granted Ukrainian refugees blanket permission to settle in any of the 27 bloc nations for up to 3 years. But the 4 million refugees the UN is predicting would create the worst humanitarian crisis in Europe since World War II. All right, let's see what the 60 Minutes report says.
Late last week, the European Union granted refugees blanket permission to settle in any of the 27 EU nations for up to 3 years. Those crowding Przemyśl are already moving on to shelters in cities farther down the line. Mayor Wojciech Bakun told us Poland is making room for another historic catastrophe.
What happens to the people who have nowhere to go? We prepare a lot of places. I think in Poland we have about 2 million places where every person can stay for long time, not for a few days, for a long time, for months, or if he or she needs for years.
2 million is half the refugees the United Nations predicts. 4 million would make this Europe's worst humanitarian disaster since World War II. In an exodus without timetables, how long Ukrainians will have to endure isn't known. Theirs is a future they cannot see. Only one thing is certain. On Platform 4, another train is coming.
Wow. One more time. Platform 4, that's where they're arriving in Poland.
Late last week, the European Union granted refugees blanket permission to settle in any of the 27 EU nations for up to 3 years. Those crowding Przemyśl are already moving on to shelters in cities farther down the line. Mayor Wojciech Bakun told us Poland is making room for another historic catastrophe.
What happens to the people who have nowhere to go?
We prepare a lot of places. I think in Poland we have about 2 million places where every person can stay for long time, not for a few days, for a long time, for months, or if he or she needs for years.
2 million is half the refugees the United Nations predicts. 4 million would make this Europe's worst humanitarian disaster since World War II. In an exodus without timetables, how long Ukrainians will have to endure isn't known. Theirs is a future they cannot see. Only one thing is certain. On Platform 4, another train is coming.
All right, 60 Minutes report. So here, 2 Ukrainian Su-25 attack aircraft were reportedly shot down in Kherson. So this was, again, daytime. So daytime yesterday. Nighttime. The next stream we do will be daytime. 11 p.m. 11 p.m. Central Time was when it'll look like this in Ukraine. And there will be lots of breaking news, and we'll have to check. I mean, the stock market opens back up. We'll have stock news to go over. We're gonna be live here until like 7:30. Still going for a bit still. And then I'll be live for the full coverage starting at 11. This stream is mostly recap coverage from the daytime, because I know we have a lot of people that can't tune in overnight. But I hope you guys, I will schedule the stream after the stream is over for YouTube. It'll be on Facebook too, as always, but YouTube I can schedule the stream ahead of time. And that will be it'll be daytime in Ukraine when we come back. Alright, I guess even the previous president, Trump, is not praising Putin anymore. So, Leonardo DiCaprio donated $10 million to Ukraine. His grandmother is a native of Odessa. Russian cruise missile intercepted over Kramatorsk. 5 residential houses partly damaged. Kramatorsk. 5 residential houses partially damaged. They've been doing a good job of live tweeting. I'm pretty accurate. How you doing, Michael? So the other news with TikTok, I saw this. Wall Street Journal: Syrians maybe. Yep, we read through this one. Syrians may be sent to fight in Ukraine. Or Wall Street Journal. So that is the newest. Wall Street Journal: Syrians may be sent to fight in Ukraine. The newest. Syrian fighters in Ukraine for Russia. Yep. the Chechen fighters that Russia had used, which that whole, you'd have to like go into a whole history lesson on that one. And using their own, Ukraine's own people against them. But now they're going to try to use Syrians. Yeah, I know. It's not going well for Russia in general here. It's not going well at all. I'm trying to find an article about them shutting off their internet, and I haven't seen that. Russia's military chief what's this one? From the Wall Street Journal. Oh no, you gotta subscribe. I gotta do incognito mode. I will be using
Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine.
This is how some news organizations in the U.S. have been covering Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Russia's full-scale invasion.
Russian invasion.
Russia attacking Ukraine's fuel deposits.
And this is how it's described on Russian state television.
Alright, so here, this is a compare and contrast from the Wall Street Journal of how they're covering it. Again, we're not, this is the difference. You're not using Wall Street Journal and this as the only source of information. If you do that, that's bad. If you go to one place for info, not good. Use multiple sources. This is a report on what it looks like in Russian state media. Again, a report. Not using Wall Street Journal for our only source of info.
This is what Russian President Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine.
I don't know what American mainstream news is saying, other than when we occasionally need to use their source. But we don't even hardly ever use American source for up-to-date information because they're usually behind. But their reports are what we can use to summarize everything that we're seeing. And also, I don't know what Russian state media is like right now.
This is what Russian President Vladimir Putin unleashed on Ukraine.
This is how some news organizations in the U.S. have been covering Russia's invasion of Ukraine.
Russia's full-scale invasion.
Russian invasion.
Russia attacking Ukraine's fuel deposits.
And this is how it's described on Russian state television.
The two sides, they really have wildly different descriptions of what's going on because the Kremlin is really conscious of public opinion.
State broadcasters have been reinforcing Russian President Vladimir Putin's narrative that Ukraine and its Western allies pose threats to his country.
Украина для стран Запада всегда была лишь инструментом для сдерживания России.
With ongoing global coverage of the war and a deluge of information on social media, Russian state media outlets are using maps and dismissing Western media reports to send its own message about the invasion of its next-door neighbor. To understand why Putin decided to attack, you first need to know how he sees Ukraine's relationship to Russia.
Это неотъемлемая часть нашей собственной истории, культуры, духовного пространства.
So the state media has been giving its viewers a geography lesson. This is a map of Ukraine today, which was a Soviet state before it gained its independence in 1991. Here, parts of the country are broken up into sections. The reporter says that these areas aren't really Ukraine's, but were gifts from past Russian and Soviet leaders. And this yellow part in the middle is the only section that's labeled as Ukrainian territory.
Maps like these, the idea is to really shape public opinion and give this kind of historical backing for their current operation in Ukraine.
And this historical context was reiterated in Putin's nearly hour-long speech days before the invasion.
Современная Украина целиком и полностью была создана Россией.
Putin seems to have been focused on history when it comes to Ukraine, and he has always mentioned Ukraine where it has been part of Russia and it should continue to be part of Russia.
Back in 1991, Ukrainians held a referendum that overwhelmingly supported independence from the Soviet Union, and this decision was backed by Russia. And as a sovereign state, several years later, Ukraine asked to join NATO. But Putin objected because this would bring the military alliance closer to Russia's doorstep, a concern that his predecessors shared after the breakup of the Soviet Union. So he demanded that the alliance guarantee Ukraine would not get membership. And when there were none,
То, что происходит, вынужденная мера. Мы просто не оставили никаких шансов поступить иначе.
the state media has amplified this narrative that the conflict with Ukraine isn't Russia's fault, but the US and its Western allies are to blame.
В планах США навязать Европе войну с Россией.
Безответственные западные политики создают угрозы для нашей страны.
A few days after the invasion, Putin raised the stakes again.
Перевести силы сдерживания российской армии в особый режим несения боевого дежурства.
He ordered the country's nuclear forces to be put on alert as the US and its allies stepped up pressure with new sanctions.
Что гарантированно уничтожают США и все страны НАТО в придачу.
And Russian state media echoed his message.
Путин предупреждал, пугать Россию не надо.
State media programs are also running disinformation segments. This newscast shows what it claims to be a tweet from CNN about an American who died during the invasion of Ukraine. No American casualties have been reported during the war, and the Twitter account was suspended. CNN said the tweet was fabricated and the account not affiliated with the news organization in any way. The Russian state media channel Rossiya 24 didn't respond to a request for comment.
They're doing the sock accounts, the false flags. This is their false flags that they're doing. There's another false example of a false flag right here that just happened that they just did. Russia is the king of doing these false flags. This is what a false flag looks like.
Segments. This newscast shows what it claims to be a tweet from CNN about an American who died during the invasion of Ukraine. No American casualties have been reported during the war, and the Twitter account was suspended. CNN said the tweet was fabricated and the account not affiliated with the news organization in any way. The Russian state media channel Rossiya 24 didn't respond to a request for comment. Russian state media have also repeated the Kremlin's position that there are no threats to civilians and that it's only targeting military installations.
К мирным жителям и городам отношение реально бережное.
In the first week of war, Ukrainian officials said the invasion's civilian death toll had reached 2,000.
These outlets, they're propagating, the Kremlin line that this is a limited operation, and also saying that Russia needs to demilitarize Ukraine.
All right, it is implied that all governments do this. We are focused on Russia. If you can't focus on Russia and you need to do the all countries thing, all countries do this, all countries have yes. We are focused on Russia's invasion and Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine.
И все страны НАТО в придачу.
And Russian state media echoed his message.
Путин предупреждал, пугать Россию не надо.
State media programs are also running disinformation segments. This newscast shows what it claims to be.
So they created a CNN account. This isn't a real CNN account. This isn't real. The CNN account isn't a real account. They made it. They fabricated it. Made it look like a real account with a bunch of interactions and retweets to make it look like a real CNN account. And then when they went to go see the account was removed. They just used the screenshot from this account, and then they brought it into their news report and says, look, an American was killed. But this actual account, when you go to it, it doesn't exist.
A tweet from CNN about an American who died during the invasion of Ukraine. No American casualties have been reported during the war, and the Twitter account was suspended. CNN said the tweet was fabricated and the account not affiliated with the news organization in any way. The Russian state media channel Rossiya 24 didn't respond to a request for comment. Russian state media have also repeated the Kremlin's position that there are no threats to civilians and that it's only targeting military installations.
К мирным жителям и городам отношение реально бережное.
In the first week of war, Ukrainian officials said the invasion's civilian death toll had reached 2,000.
These outlets, they're propagating, the Kremlin line that this is a limited operation, and also saying that Russia needs to demilitarize Ukraine. They're really saving the population in eastern Ukraine. The Kremlin wants that the domestic audience sees Russia not as an aggressor.
Before the invasion, many Russians agreed with the Kremlin line on Ukraine. About 60% of those surveyed in Russia say tensions in Ukraine are the fault of the US and NATO, according to a Russian independent pollster. But the Kremlin's narrative isn't getting to everyone in Russia. Across the country, people have been protesting Putin's decision to invade. So to continue shaping public opinion, the country's communications regulator ordered all media outlets, including independent ones, to only use official government sources. The government watchdog and state media organizations didn't respond to a request for comment. And as the West has started to cut off Russia from the global financial system, ordinary citizens are starting to feel the pain, lining up at ATMs to pull out cash as the Russian currency has plummeted.
Я не знаю, чего ожидать даже, потому что последствия могут быть непредсказуемыми. Может закрыться Макдональдс, где я каждый день кушаю. Также курс рубля. Не знаю, справится ли с этим Центробанк.
And this could...
Oh no, not McDonald's. McDonald's, where he eats at every day, could be closed. Moscow resident. This is what he's worried about.
Cash as the Russian currency has plummeted.
Я не знаю, чего ожидать даже, потому что последствия могут быть непредсказуемыми. Может закрыться Макдональдс, где я каждый день кушаю. Также курс рубля. Не знаю, справится ли с этим Центробанк.
And this could provide the Kremlin another opportunity to cast the US and its allies as Russia's aggressors as the war in Ukraine continues.
Wow. All right. Hey, take this moment. We're at the 2-hour mark. Let me know where you're watching from, what city and what state. Yeah, he's worried about the McDonald's. See, they've propagandized Russia so much, like they're trying to take them away from anything that's actually important. They're focused on luxuries. Yeah, McDonald's is gonna get taken away in Russia. That looks so similar to. That would be some like that sounds like some United States shit too. Dude, it's kind of like I'm getting nervous on how much Russia and the United States are actually similar in how they're dude. Not good. Tell you what. That's what I'm saying, MJ. You think U.S. kids are any different? Thank you. I just said that. It's scary. How much are we like, dude? That might as well have just been a clip in the U.S. Might as well. England coming, yeah, literally. Watching Okinawa, Kingdom of the New Philippines. Whitehorse, Yukon. Coming from an American. Duh. You think I would have insight on that, being an American myself? Use your common sense. Bonnie, Scotland. Tiffany, Oregon. Connecticut. Austin, Texas. Dayport, Iowa. Rochester, Minnesota. Totally agree. Savannah, Australia. Watching from Montana's tuned in. Welcome. SoCal's tuned in. Costa Rica, Ukraine. Amsterdam, Holland, Kansas, South Carolina. Perth, Australia. Worthington, England. Skull in the chat. Skull Vikings. Godfrey. Houston, Texas. This is who you're tuned into. Mercado Media Productions on Facebook. Make sure you guys, hey, everybody on Facebook, like the video. 566 reacts. Everybody that's tuned in right now, drop a like on the Facebook. It's just in the bottom right. Bottom right corner next to the star. YouTube, make sure you guys like the video. The goal every stream is 1,000 likes. You should be able to get there. There's 2,200 tuned in. Over 2,200, almost 2,300 tuned in on YouTube. The goal is 1,000 every stream. Facebook's hit and miss now. A lot of the Facebook audiences came over to YouTube. Since this has begun. Do you think Odessa? No. So the latest U.S. report is that there is no imminent threat to Odessa now. That was like an hour ago, I'd say now. Let's find it. It's trying to get cold down here. It's trying to get chilly down here. To go put. Wait. Here it is. An hour ago now from Reuters. U.S. does not see an imminent. This was a threat all day yesterday because of President Zelensky's words. And also why this title is named why it's his title, because we've been waiting on that. But the latest per U.S. intelligence, per U.S. official, is that they don't see an imminent threat. And that could be because of the weather conditions in the Black Sea. That could change. Things are fluid. Nuance. Fluidity. Seen this already. I've seen this. You know, we've seen this twice already. Not gonna watch it again. If you're interested, it's the Sky News team. They come under fire for an ambush, and they escape. They live, but it's a very intense video. So we've seen it twice now. We're not gonna see it again. But that's definitely a relevant clip. Not misinformation from that one. Oil price soars 9% to $130 a barrel in early trading, up 65% January 1st. Yeah, it was. No, we've seen that one. Yeah. So, follow on Facebook, !notify if you haven't. !notify. Also on Twitter, MMP LLC News. MMP LLC News. Follow us on Twitter. I update when we're live times. And pin it, so that way you guys, if you're wondering when we're going to be live with coverage, you can check it out. Facebook, I just update this post. I posted it on March 2nd, and I'm just updating it daily with the times. I'm just going back to it, hitting the edit button, editing the post, and then adjusting. So that way I don't have to keep writing a post every day. Let's refresh the map. Jennifer, thank you. Thank you for those 500 stars. Let's do some viewer engagement updates. Jennifer Hendrickson with the 500 stars. Thank you. Tara with the 200 stars. Thank you, Matthew Scott, for the share. Thank you, Rhonda, for the 50. Thank you, Jennifer, for the 200. Thank you, Lisa, for the 500. Thank you, Darren, for sharing. Thank you, Lexi, for subscribing. Thank you, Georgia, for the 500. Thanks, Andrew, for doing this. Naomi shared the stream. Michael, thank you for the 50 stars. I'm between Discord and YouTube and Facebook. If I find anything else, I'll post links. Let me see what he said here. I'll post links in Discord, which I highly recommend everyone joining for personal information and inside looks. That's 50 stars from Michael, so he's encouraging those to join the Discord. Laura with the 50 stars. Thank you, Georgia, for the share. Kathleen, thank you for the share. Thank you, Michael, for subscribing. Definitely join our Discord. Or if you need to go to bed now, I get it. Take a nap. We're going to be live again at 11. I'm going to be live here for another hour. I was late. 45 minutes late. Or no, I was a half hour late. I was supposed to go till 7:15, but we're going to go till 7:45. Top shelf. I see all comments. We have YouTube and Facebook. I have the studio for Facebook and YouTube up. So I see. I'm not in the chat. I have the studio open for both, so I do actually see all comments. Georgia 500. Thank you. Also, shout out to the $14,000 raised for the humanitarian crisis in Ukraine for International Rescue Committee. YouTube has been doing a fantastic job raising money for the crisis in Ukraine. Donate now. International Rescue Committee. $14,000 raised. Don't see that on the internet anywhere else. Don't see any other communities that are covering the war raising as much money as ours. We have the best community on the internet. Lots of other channels and platforms covering it, but I don't see anyone else raising money for the people at the same time. Definitely awesome job, YouTube. and Facebook that are also contributing to all the fundraisers we've held. And then anybody else that's donated and then for reasons that YouTube won't credit you or it doesn't work through YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's donating in their own personal time. Okay, so this is an update on that the flight carrying Russian government personnel expelled by the United States has just departed New York for Moscow. So expelled Russian government personnel are leaving. They left New York. They're on their way back to Moscow. Anonymous donated $20 to the IRC. Shout out Anonymous. Great work. A Devastation X donated $5 to the IRC. Amazing work. Oh yeah, lots of channels running feeds for the war, getting hundreds and hundreds of thousands of views, but they're not raising any money to help the people. They're definitely getting views though. We're all severely exhausted from driving. These checkpoints are really destroying our energy. We pulled over to the side of the road to rest. Hundreds of others have done the same. So this is our independent source, Terrell Germain Starr, who's been doing a fantastic job and also assisting in the humanitarian efforts, bringing civilians to the border and helping them get across safely. We're severely exhausted from driving. Yeah, we saw the violin. We can play that again. In the bunker. Okay, hold on. Some more news. 15 minutes ago, two residential buildings and an employment center were destroyed in airstrikes in Overich. Where's that? This is happening. This is overnight. Again, it's nighttime in Ukraine. So here's some breaking news. Where's Overich? Northwest of Kyiv, near the border. Ooh, some border cities to the northwest. How far out is that from what they occupied? Oh no. There hasn't been any concerns with these border cities over here in the west, but this is Overich. 2 residential buildings and an employment center were destroyed in airstrikes in Overich. They haven't done anything with the western border cities yet. As you see, the eastern border cities though. Look at eastern border cities. I mean, there's so many. All the blips on the red are from Russia side. Cleve donated $50 to the IRC. Thank you, Cleve. Darren Watson says you can also donate to the IRC using your Microsoft reward points. So if you have any unused Microsoft reward points that you just don't want, 1,000 points equal $1. So if you have those, you can also donate through reward points. Another $20 donation to the IRC. Thank you, Anonymous. Ulrich, northwestern border town. Northwestern border town. What does this town look like? This town. These are little towns up here. There's just something so unique about this part of the world. There's just I don't know how to. So this is Overich, over here. They're gonna let's see. This region has an air base, one military installation, Overwatch Naval Air Base. That's what they. Okay. There's a naval air base in Overwatch. Let me see. Yeah, there it is. So here's Ulrich. We don't even have any 3D models of the buildings over here. That's the naval base in the picture on the map. I suppose Ulrich is to the right. This is where the air base. This is where the naval base is. So Ulrich is over here. Over here. This is the street we're on in Google Maps. Not a very big city at all. Not a very big town. It's like a small town. The architecture in Belgium is so interesting. That's what it's, the architecture and like the way there's like it's green still everywhere too. Overwatch. Keep an eye on that. 2 residential buildings and an employment center are destroyed in airstrikes in Overwatch. Putin is making our lives a living hell. Check the map. Again, y'all, 11 p.m. or like 11:15, 11:30. I'm probably going to schedule it for 11:30. We'll be back live again. Still running it for another 45 minutes. Still running this feed for another 45 minutes. But the daytime coverage will be at 11:30. So like 4 hours from now. And it'll be daytime in Ukraine. It won't be nighttime. And it'll be Monday morning. The stock market opens. There will be stock updates. There will be Russian economy update. Like Monday, brand new day of the week. Also, it's Monday. You know what that means? Member and supporter Monday. Subscribers, I should say. It's subscribers now on Facebook. But if you become a subscriber on Facebook, you get a supporter only group. There's 381 people in there, but Mondays and Mondays only, the chat will be set to supporters and members only, except for our top of the hour viewer check-ins, which I've been doing, where we shout out where you guys are watching from, and I will open the chats for that, for everyone to comment. So once an hour, I will open the chats up and shout out all viewers tuned in, but in between those hours, the chat will be set for supporters and members only. Mondays and Mondays only. We have a ton of people complain about it every time, and it's been over almost 2 years now. It is what it is. Shout out to everybody that does support the page. But again, every hour on the hour, the chat will be opened. If you cannot support the page right now, that's completely fine. Mondays only. That starts at midnight tonight, so the chat will be open for a while until midnight. Any country Russia is attacking. Yep. It's 3 a.m. now. 3 a.m. But again, that concern isn't the... Stand 2 was early in the invasion. They haven't gotten into the city center since the zoo night, and that was like day 2. So this time of night isn't... The breaking news is in the daytime now. Oh, I was glitching. Was I lagging for a second? Refresh the stream if you need to. Thank you, Laura. Oh yeah, the video will still be available. The video isn't... I will never put the video to that, but the chat features. Yep. Terrell's doing great. Go follow Terrell J. Star on Twitter, one of our independent sources on the ground. Russia has fired 600 missiles and deployed 95% of its amassed troops into Ukraine, according to a senior U.S. defense official. From a CNN report. So now they're saying... Now the U.S. sources are saying 95% of its troops. What was the last update we had last week? 70% of their troops have been used, so we have to wait for more information on that. I'm sure that information will come out in the stream tonight. Hell yeah. Good job, Intel Rogue. They've been doing a pretty good job. They're doing their best to keep information relevant. I've worked hard with this account for years. Try to find a lot of our sources are smaller accounts, and then we gotta watch it go and see if it's legit or if it's hearsay or if it's rumors, and oftentimes those sources have been on point. Do I hear from... No. He's doing his own thing now. I don't know. No. He's got his own media. I got mine. That's about it for that. This is live in Kyiv. Live in Kyiv. At the 2-hour and 24-minute mark again. This is going to end at 7:45 p.m. Central Time. It's freezing up here and there. I'll go reset the internet in between these streams. I'll schedule the 11 p.m. stream. I will schedule that, and then you guys can get that stream in the queue. The other thing that's good about scheduling streams is you guys can go and get a notification on YouTube. I'm like, after the stream is over, I will schedule the 11 p.m. stream, and you can go to it and get a notification for the video. So every stream from now on YouTube, I will schedule ahead of time. Russians are trying to recruit Syrians to join their fight right now, but that's per U.S. sources, U.S. officials. U.S. officials amp things, so U.S. officials are also trying to amp the fighter jets that Poland isn't trying to send, but they're trying to pressure them to do it. Again, my times, I'm not ever going to be directly on time anyways because of the cyber threats, cyber attacks. If I announce when exactly I'm going live, it'd be too easy to send a high ping to the area and then mess up my signal. So, gotta avoid cyber attacks. Here's the video of the violin in the bunker. If you missed it, we watched this at the beginning of the stream. So that's in a bunker in Ukraine. A violin player. Okay, Thai guy, no. Alright. Ukraine is not winning the Toasty. All right. Beautiful. Spam those blue and yellow hearts for support of the people of Ukraine in the chat. Show our support. We support the people of Ukraine. This channel does not support Vladimir Putin and the Russian invasion or the Russian government or the Kremlin at all. Zero sympathy, zero care for their propagandized reasons for invading Ukraine. We support Ukraine, or support the people of Ukraine on this channel and platform. All right, nothing. Most of the daytime news is when it comes out in the daytime. Yeah, Ryan, talking to Facebook. Yeah, they're doing their own thing. Never worked out. Didn't work out. Again, y'all, most of the coverage that I do now is overnight coverage. 11 p.m. Central to 7 a.m. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is when a lot of the breaking news and happenings are going on now. The stream on YouTube will be scheduled. Still live for about another half hour. Still got another half hour left. But nothing breaking coming out right now. Again, that's why I completely shifted my live schedule. When the invasion started, I would go live at this time. Now I've had to adjust that, and we go live at 11 p.m. But again, and most of you that have been looking for the feed, times have been adjusted. Times have been adjusted. Nothing new on Odessa. The latest is that U.S. reports are that it's not happening right now. The latest from the U.S. reports. Let's try to get that. Here you go. U.S. does not see imminent Russian amphibious threat of Odessa, according to U.S. official. I went to the Reuters site and I had a paywall to get through, or a subscribe paywall. I might sign up for those in my breaks. That way we can look at those. Get signed up for the email address. The email blasts. Operational information on the diplomatic front. So they continue to walk out every time he speaks. Lavrov speaks, they all walk out. This has been every time they update, everyone in the room walks out. Calls to stand with Ukraine continue in Minnesota. So local news in Minnesota. Governor Walz declares Ukrainian Solidarity Day in Minnesota. When was this? Oh, today. Today was... Why is this being posted now? March 6th is almost over. Today was Solidarity Day in Minnesota. Hundreds of Minnesotans participated in several local... Oh, I must have missed that. Several local pro-Ukraine events. In the Twin Cities. That's about it to update. We've gone through the recap again. We still got a few more minutes. Gotta get to the 3-hour mark. But the latest update, I suppose we can just watch Kyiv for a bit. Odessa, the amphibious landing and assault and the bombardment is, according to U.S. officials, is not happening. President Zelensky yesterday said that they had official documents that said that was happening from the Russian side. City of Mykolaiv is in between Kherson and Odessa. Kherson is occupied by Russian forces. Here's Crimea. That's been annexed since 2014. Mariupol. Evacuation has failed 2 times now. 2 days in a row. Evacuation has failed. The Russian side has not abided by their ceasefire. So any ceasefire you're hearing of Russian side ceasefire is from Mariupol. All right. This is the Donbas, Luhansk and Donetsk. They're controlled by Russia. They have been. Kharkiv, border city, getting shelled and bombarded. It did earlier in the stream, a couple hours ago. We'll have picture updates tonight. Picture updates tonight from that apartment building that was hit. But that's all these blips are Russian explosions, bombardments, missile strikes, bombings. Sumy, just keeping an eye on that. Haven't heard any news from Sumy lately, but Russian forces do have it occupied around it. Chernihiv, city that's been getting bombed more often as of late. Taking some more IDF. We're keeping an eye on Chernihiv, the cities to the northeast. And then Chernobyl, where the power plant, the Chernobyl nuclear plant, they have all that area occupied as well, to the north of Kyiv. There's been bombings around Vinnytsia. A Russian missile in the airspace. This is 12 hours ago at Vinnytsia Airport. And that's about what we're tracking right now. That's the biggest breaking stuff. And then of course there's news in between, like what Anonymous is doing. Western amenities being taken away from Russians slowly, or Russia censoring independent media, banning independent media, banning Facebook, banning Twitter. I don't know if YouTube's banned yet. I haven't seen an official report yet. Hey Shelly, I can't believe this is still going on. Neither can I. But it is. Alright. Train cam, it's nighttime. We're not going to see anything. But we'll check back in the Pripyat camera. This is where they have control of Chernobyl, north of Kyiv. Thank you to everybody that's been donating to the International Rescue Committee. $14,000 raised on YouTube. $14,000, and also YouTube got past the 1,000 like mark. Shout out to YouTube. So you guys are all the goals. 1,000 likes on YouTube. Thank you. Facebook, you guys are at 683. Might be a little harder to do on Facebook. Not too many people are tuned in on Facebook as much as YouTube. But we are live. This is Mercado Media Productions on Facebook and YouTube. We're live on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Close out the chat. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell. Set to all. Facebook, do !notify in the chat. I'll type it so you can see it. And you'll automatically follow and get notifications so you don't have to leave the feed. !notify. And then MMP LLC News on Twitter. Follow us here for updates. I post when we're going live. Tune in live on Facebook and YouTube, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So I'll update that again tomorrow or after tonight's stream. Excuse me, Facebook. I update this post. My name's Andrew Mercado. From Mercado Media. This is me. Independent. I own it. I operate it. I have an amazing moderator team that moderates the chat and makes sure the chat is clean or free of trolls and hate speech. We have some photojournalists on the team, a couple photojournalists, but besides that, it's me. Andrew Mercado, Mercado Media. That's me. We can do answering some questions. Volunteers, Claire. Moderating the chat is volunteer work. No kids, no. Do not have kids. Nearing the end of this stream, though, y'all, the breaking news, again, will start coming out in the daytime. We're nearing the end. About another 18 minutes. Yeah, we have that. That's the other nuanced news is anonymous hacking Russian streaming services. So we can do like a quick scroll recap. Here, anonymous hacking. This was 2 hours ago now. Hacking Russian streaming services. Showing actual video from the war.
Офицеры говорят.
Салта, Харков. 11:42, 28 число. Вот так примерно выглядит русский мир.
This is anonymous hacking their state TV and their streaming services. Because they're not getting the actual news from out of the... Russia's censoring all their news from the war.
Офицеры говорят.
Much respect from New Zealand, thank you.
Салта, Харков. 11:42, 28 число. Вот так примерно выглядит русский мир.
All right. Okay. Apparently Metallica has a Ukraine merch line now. U.S. Air Force RQ-4 Global Hawk over the Black Sea for reconnaissance missions. So Air Force doing Black Sea reconnaissance missions. We do have people in our Discord that are watching this. They have the flight paths. Your friends in Venezia are safe. Thank you, Pearl. That's the news from Venezia. According to preliminary information, the missiles that hit Venezia airport were launched from Transnistria. That's from Belarus, right? Or maybe... I think Transnistria is from Belarus. Let's look it up. It's in Moldova. I knew it wasn't in Ukraine. But it's in Moldova. Where? They're using, so that it came from Moldova. Transnistria. Missiles that hit Vinnytsia Airport, according to Prilmi, yep, fired from train. So they're fired from Moldova. Got it. Yeah, Russian-held rebel state, Moldova. Let me look at their whole. The entire border is Russia. They have all their forces here. Moldovan president, here's 6 hours ago. Maya Sandu announced after the meeting of the Supreme Security Council that the government would ask Parliament to declare a state of emergency in the country in the context of the war in Ukraine. So Moldovan president is asking the Parliament to declare a state of emergency in Moldova. This is live in Kyiv. Thank you, Crystal. I'm going to be live for another 13 minutes or so. I'm going to eat and then probably take a nap. Eat and another nap. But then we'll be back for our all-night coverage. I'll have coffee. I'll be ready to go. I need to eat so I have energy. That's really what it is. I'm rested. I just haven't ate yet. So when I do that, I'll have energy. And I'll be more awake. Eat, sleep, stream. Rachel, thank you for those. Thank you for those. Sent stars for the first time. Crystal, thank you for the subscribe. David, thank you for following. Tom, thank you for sharing the stream. Pete, thank you for following. Brenda, thank you for following. Stephanie, thank you for following. Yes, I would go to Australia. It's been my dream to go there. Linda Lemlin, thank you so much. Deanna, thank you so much for the subscribe. I don't know yet. Hold on. No troll. I'm just seeing. Yeah, 11 p.m. Central. You'll see it scheduled on the YouTube channel. It'll be scheduled. Of course, thank you. This is live in Kyiv. On the right side of every stream I do now, you can see the local time in Kyiv and then my local time above that. So you can make sure that it's a live right now. Or if somebody's restreaming my feed or something. Which was a thing. When the invasion first began, I had so many places that were restreaming me. So always double check in that right corner and make sure you're watching it live, or if you're watching it a replay. Some people like to watch what they missed, so they go back, but those that want to verify that it's actually live and current, look in the top, look in the right corner. You'll see the timestamps. Live UA map. Do exclamation mark map in the chat, and then the link will pull it up for you. Exclamation mark map. You'll be back at 11. Exclamation mark map. There it is. So we have the bot synced up to it. I'll make sure it's on when I start. What's going on with Moldova? We'll have to check it out. We'll check out Moldova more tonight. Sounds like we have more things to look into. Moldova. We gotta look that up. We gotta look up. People are interested in the China and Taiwan conflict. We can peep that and see the updates from there. Because this war here is ripple effects on all conflicts, by the way. This conflict here has ripple effects on all the conflicts happening in the world. So things we're gonna be tracking. Just well, we're reaching the end. I definitely need to eat a nap. This was only a 3-hour stream. I gotta get through 8 hours. We'll be all right though. Odessa, keeping an eye on this. This is a battle of information right now for Odessa. No amphibious assault, no Russian landing in Odessa right now. U.S. intelligence about an hour ago, maybe 2 hours ago now, is that there is no immediate threat of a Russian amphibious landing in Odessa. So that is the latest in there. Kherson, every day there's protests for the Russian occupation of Kherson when they took that city a couple days ago. The evacuation of Mariupol and the ceasefire that Russia has disobeyed every day, 2 days in a row now. This will probably be day 3, likely, of their evacuation attempt to get civilians out of the city of Mariupol. The last video we saw was them sending buses down into Mariupol. The border city of Kharkiv that continues to get shelled and bombarded and missile strikes and IDF every day. Every day, every night. Every day, every night. And then Chernihiv, which is starting to see more and more bombings and IDF in that city now within the last few days. Their goal is to try to take as much of this eastern side of the country as possible and get their forces bolstered, because again, they're sending more and more equipment. There's a train with a bunch of Russian equipment on its way from like this part of Russia that left 2 days ago, from all the way over here. Again, there's Russia. There's the United States, by the way. U.S., Russia. U.S., Russia. In case that's breaking news for you. But the train on this side of Russia left, and it's going to get over here. But they're trying to take as much of this part of Ukraine as they can so they can get closer to Kyiv, because they have not gotten any foothold inside of this country. All of their foothold is on the border. Yeah, only one. Most of their, again, it's nighttime in Ukraine, but our full coverage has shifted to daytime coverage now. This is what it'll look like at 11 when we come back. 11:30. 11:30. This is what it'll look like. Nothing new. All right, one last viewer check-in. Let me shout you guys out. 5 minutes left. Comment where you're watching from or where you tuned in from. Where you watched from or where you are tuned in from. What city, what state, and where in the world. You guys are tuned into Mercado Media Productions. Thank you for watching. You guys have been tuned into YouTube on Mercado Media Productions. Thank you for watching. Mercado Media Productions Facebook, Mercado Media Productions YouTube, Mercado Media Productions on Twitter. Follow all the things. You get notifications and are up to date when we're posting. Dallas, San Diego's tuned in. Flint, Michigan. Decatur, Indiana. Denver, Colorado. Texas, New Zealand. Tulsa, Oklahoma is tuned in. Minneapolis tuned in. Eden Prairie. South St. Paul. South Minneapolis tuned in. Thank you. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Also spam the reactions on Facebook. If you're tuned in, hit the like button. Make sure you share the stream. Follow and notifications on so you know when we're going live again. So you never miss one. Been following for nearly 2 years. Thank you, Freddie. Rottenham, Netherlands. Apple Valley, Minnesota's tuned in. Arkansas, Australia. Ohio. The other thing, too, is the stream for 11:15, 11:30 will be scheduled. Just go to YouTube and wait for the stream. It'll be on Facebook again, too. We'll be live on Facebook again, too, but I can schedule the stream on YouTube. So you'll have a queue. You can sit in the chat until it starts. Tennessee, St. Cloud, Minnesota tuned in. Stockton, Vancouver, London, UK, Mexico, Dallas, Texas, St. John, Canada, Michigan, Livingston, Texas. All right. Thank you guys all again for tuning in. We'll be back live 11:15, 11:30. And you guys are free to join us all night long for all night coverage. All right. All night long coverage. Take care. See you guys then. Again, the stream will be scheduled. The stream will be scheduled so you don't miss it. Come to YouTube, get your notification, and I'll see you guys tonight.